And now, on Alive 90.5, it's time for the Urban Hour with Preston, your hip-hop program servicing the Hills, Hollywood, Parramatta and beyond online. The home of interviews with the likes of Fundamentals, Spit Syndicate and even all the way as far as the UK with Jest. And of course, the best in rising and local talent. Stick around for urban news, views, gigs, reviews and of course the best in pulsating tunes with your host, James Preston. And welcome to another edition of the Urban Hour with Preston here on Alive 90.5. I'm back again this week, and back again for the first time in a few weeks is Kimmy. How are we doing?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm very good. Geez, you're looking bubbly tonight.
I can't take you seriously.
Oh, let me guess. Go on, tell everyone at home why.
He's wearing his prescribed sunnies because he's lost his glasses.
Lost or misplaced?
Lost.
Yes, lost.
Lost, let's be honest.
Lost, and ordered a new pair for that matter. Now, Kimmy, what is happening this Saturday? I think you know exactly what is happening.
What's happening?
Wow, you really don't. That's quite pathetic.
Nah, Valentine's Day. It means nothing to me, that's why.
You are cold and heartless.
I'm not.
You're a little bit cold and heartless. But just to warm you up,
yeah.
What I'm going to do for you tonight is I'm going to play a selection of love songs from hip-hop and R&B artists. Does that sound like something that might get you in the mood for Saturday?
Maybe.
Any plans, Kimmy?
No. Oh, I have a wedding.
Oh, see, it's just meant for you to find love this weekend.
Hopefully I catch the bouquet.
Oh, okay, you will catch the bouquet. There you go. See some rap for you straight up, Kimmy. All right, let's get into the first one here. It's going to be a bit of an underground jam here. From before he became mainstream, who is the Kimmy? It's Drake.
Oh, the one and only.
Stick around, we'll hear here till 9 p.m. because it's a huge show with all these love songs. And of course, we're also going to be speaking with Michael Pellegrino, who is a music entrepreneur. He's got some very interesting takes on the industry. And of course, we also around. You're on the Urban Hour with Preston.
I'm going to let you take this one.
Hi, you, Kimmy. Thank you very much for popping in with that. That was beautiful. We are back live on the Urban Hour with Preston here, and joining us now in the studio is a very talented guest. He's a very, very interesting musical entrepreneur. He goes by the name of Michael Pellegrino. Welcome to the studio, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, give us a bit of a backstory as to your involvement into hip-hop and, well, music in general now, because you're doing a lot of promoting work and you've got the business. Tell us about the business and how did you get into it?
Well, firstly, it started off, I've always had a love for hip-hop. Before it became a sort of popular thing to become involved in hip-hop, as a lot of people my age do, and which is a great thing. But to be honest with you, I got into hip-hop when I used to stay at my grandmother's place a lot. I was pretty much brought up there, and watching, back in the day, Nelly, D12, Eminem, on Rage, Saturday mornings, that's what sort of got me into that, and that's where, as dumb as it sounds, that's what sort of made me, the videos and the music and something about the beats, that's what sort of made me love the art of hip-hop. And gradually, as I got older, I never really strayed away from it, which is ironic, because a lot of people that start off passionate about something when they're young, it's so common to stray away from it. And I've always had that love, and I've always wanted to sort of contribute to hip-hop. And in the beginning, it was hard, because it's such a thing of, not belonging in hip-hop, because really, apart from Hilltop Hoods, and they've been around for ages, rappers such as 360 and Cursor, a lot of respect to them, they've sort of come out later. It's sort of become, which is a good thing, it's becoming more increasingly accepted as well, to have an Aussie hip-hop artist or Aussie hip-hop act. So what it was like overcoming that as well, and accepting the fact that, and by looking at things like you said, I'll be promoting things like that, and obviously the urban genre, such as you've got house music, R&B music, and hip-hop music. They're dominating the clubs at the moment. You can't doubt that. Any club in Sydney where you go, that is what's playing, and that's what's popular, and that's what the people demand. So it's looking at from sort of like an entrepreneurial standpoint. There's so many artists out here in Sydney, in the Sydney area, that are talented in that urban genre, which is hip hop, R&B, and house music predominantly, but mainly hip hop and R&B. There's a lot of.
How do you transition personally from music fan to entrepreneur, though?
Music fan to entrepreneur, I would have to say, figures like Suge Knight and Puffy, like Puff Daddy Diddy. Whatever he goes near one these days.
Shot girls.
like how you transition into that is by looking at I've always had love of business on the side as well, and by looking at it from the perspective that there is a market for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, people demand it, and demand runs the economy. People demand, you know, urban music. People enjoy it. Urban music is what dominates the radio. So,
how would you describe your role in particular? Are you there to facilitate more of these upcoming acts to get in there and get better known, put them into the clubs, and put them on festival slots? Like, what exactly? What is your business called, actually?
My business cause is, well, I've recently started my business called.
What's the name of it?
Roundhouse Records.
Roundhouse Records.
Support us on Facebook. Look it up on Facebook. One word, Roundhouse. But pretty much the call for business was I want to be able to promote, like, I've promoted clubs and I've promoted rappers such as Jack the Knife. When I used to promote it at clubs into the city, and other popular local rap acts in clubs into the city. And so I was looking at it like that, and people received these rappers really well. And it was like, if you can get people at that level, at that much of a small level, it's like looking at it like this. The core was, there's so much other artists out here, and turning on the radio, turning on any mainstream station from now, you will hear artists predominantly from the US, which is cool, you know? I wouldn't be a fan without hearing US rap first, and that's great. And the US obviously played a fundamental role in rap music. New York, Detroit,
of course, and I mean that's
exactly.
Always going to dictate the terms.
It will always dictate the terms, but it's like
on that point as well. I mean, as you say, like, other than say Triple J or community stations, you're not going to really hear any Aussie rap, even on the Edge, which is
that's true.
Hip-hop
That's true. They will, like stations like the Edge, they claim they're predominantly hip hop. Not to knock the Edge, but you know, the last
not the Edge. We're on a line not the Edge.
The last Aussie hip hop song I heard was Cosby Sweater, which is cool. You know, that's great. But it's like there's so much other talent out here, and my call to business was to answer the question more direct. And what I've wanted to try to do was get a sense of unity among Australian, like predominantly Sydney urban artists and artists from that genre. Give them a platform to sort of deliver this music and to sort of, in a unified manner kind of thing. So it's like, by bringing these people together, what you're going to have is, you're going to have, you know, the goal is to get a growing momentum of, this is what people want to hear. Because if you look at the grassroots of hip-hop, you can take it back to the days of NWA, you can take it back to the days of Public Enemy, even to the present YG. You've got people, it's a great thing, but you've got people telling their story. And that's what hip-hop is. It's expressing yourself, as NWA said in the 80s. That's what hip-hop is. It's about expressing yourself. So the point I'm making is, there's so much talent in Sydney, and there's so many artists in Sydney that are just aspiring, you know, to have their music heard and to be able to relate to other Sydney people, to the youth of Sydney.
That you bring to the table in terms of how do I get out there and make people hear my stuff, and that's where you come in.
Yeah, and that's where I come in. And, yeah, that is where I come in. So what I've been trying to do, as well as I've got a label with my business partner, Antonio Sale, who's also a rap artist and a producer and a singer. Asa, that's his artist name. We've got Hussein on the label. We've got DJ Influence on the label. Just to watch out for those acts. But what I'm trying to do at that level is trying to promote these artists onto the mainstream. But even before that, onto more of a local level, so they're well received. Like, we've got to, you know, it's all good and well to say we'll get all these artists together and we'll release music, but we've all agreed that there's a standard of music we have to release before. Yeah, it's got to be quality.
See, I'm interested here. Kimmy, of course, is an R&B singer herself. So, what is your take on this? I mean, from your hearing this, you've done quite a few performances. Obviously, you've done Bella Vista Farm, the Beach Carols by Candlelight. There she goes. Nice little glow from Kimmy with a smile. Yeah, I have. I've done that. You've done Ja Rule with yours truly. You've done a few other things. What do you find for Michael here? Like, what questions do you have of him in terms of? Do you see him as more of an agent or a facilitator of this, a promoter? Like, what
definitely a facilitator. Like, you're being, like, I think you're that person that sits between, like, the event itself and the artist. Like, you're that person that an artist would go to and maybe get gigs.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
and I definitely understand as an Australian artist. In Australia, they don't play much Australian music, and it needs to get out there.
It does need to get out there because there's a lot of talent out there. And so I've sort of looked at it, you know, from the fan to sort of the business associate with my partner, Asa. It's by looking at it, and it's by saying, all right, let's not go in there wanting to be millionaires. You know, the money will come if it comes, when it comes. That's sort of the attitude we'd have, and it's sort of looking at putting these artists on a platform and a sense of unity. So we're going to have a lot of acts coming out this year. We're going to have a lot of gigs coming out this year. We're in talks with other artists at the moment. And look out for Roundhouse Records. This is definitely not going to be the last time. And we're going to have a block parties coming out this year. So it's going to be a big year for Roundhouse.
Beautiful. Now, we're going to have a bit of a discussion about the Grammys after these messages. We'll get Michael to stick around for it. Of course, you're in the know with being in the business, obviously.
Yep.
And before that, got a few messages and a bit of a message from one Kanye West. And I think we all know why he's going to be coming up soon.
Oh, yeah.
Stick around. You're on the Urban Hour with Preston. And welcome back to the Urban Hour with Preston Alive 90.5. Now, we've got to pick this up. As we mentioned before the break, there was a good reason we were playing Kanye, and that's because a lot of controversy involving this man at the Grammys, wasn't there, Kimmy? A lot. And now I also noticed that you've got a beautiful little piece of paper there with a rundown of all the big events. That's what we're going to do for you right now. Michael is going to join us. You might have heard him on the other side of the break.
What's happening?
Pellegrino, he's still in the studio with us. We're going to have a bit of a Grammy chat, all the big moments. So, Kimmy, who were our big winners?
So obviously Sam Smith stole the show. 4 Grammys. That's huge. I think. What is your opinion on Sam Smith? Do you like him?
I do. I'm just trying to think that favourite song that I have of his. It's
Stay with me?
Yeah. Oh, won't you stay with me? See, I'm not going to be getting a Grammy anytime soon based on that.
Rapping maybe.
Oh, what a gem you are! What a gem. In fact, you're a Grammy. That's even better than a gem. There we go. In statuesque form. What else have we got?
Of course, your favourite artist. Who?
Oh, gee, now you're just typecasting me. Is it because I'm white?
Best rap album. Eminem took that.
I'll tell you what, I think he did deserve it. What are your thoughts on this, Michael? I know you're a bit of an Eminem fan.
Oh, an Eminem fan is an understatement.
Is it a deserved win?
Depends who he was up against.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was a great effort, like, no doubt. But at the same time, I still feel like it was a bit of an injustice to call your LP the Marshall Mathers LP 2. Like, that was a huge legacy to fulfill. Like, just in terms of the title itself, like, I think you'd have to take in the legacy that the Marshall Mathers LP was.
Do you think he did justice to that legacy, though, on the LP?
Yeah, he did. Like, it was definitely mature Eminem, like, as you would expect, but I wouldn't know. Like, I can't give you a definitive answer because as much as it was a continuation from the last LP, I don't feel like he had that aggressive nature, like the brashness of the year 2000.
It seemed like Shock Value was more forced than
it was
a result of the context of what he was speaking.
But look, it was refreshing. I mean, like, from Recovery, you had so much like divergence from that. You had Berserk. You had Rap God, obviously, as just, and then you had other songs like Rhyme or Reason. So it definitely did have, you know, its great hip hop there, and it was a long album. It was, you know,
it coming in 80 minutes, which is obviously the full length.
Yeah, it was definitely a full length album. But was he deserving?
I'm a huge Eminem fan myself.
Yeah.
I actually would not have awarded it to him.
Yeah, I don't think I would have either at the end of the day.
To Drake. Nothing was. Well, look.
I don't know.
Pure and simple, didn't like the guy at all. Could not stand him because I hated Young Money. I'm sorry, Little Wayne, but I don't like you very much at all.
Sorry, Birdman.
Birdman. And I decided to give that album a go, and I fell in love with it immediately. And since then, I've been a massive Drake fan. So
I'll put that in the R&B factor, but.
No, it's going to open a whole can of worms here. But look,
he's refreshing,
definitely.
definitely.
I know Kimmy probably won't agree here. I'm glad Iggy did not win. It would not have deserved it at all if Iggy has only won.
Yeah.
Good singles, I'll give it that, but no, come on, let's be real here.
Yeah.
Kimmy, before we get into a punching match here with everyone in the studio, let's go into the next category. What have you got for us?
Of course, so Beck took the album of the year, which Kanye stepped up,
Whoa.
jokingly.
Yes.
I don't know, I feel like he knew he was going to do it kind of thing. Like
Oh, definitely.
planned,
Yeah.
100%. But he did it for the after effects, of course. So then he had like this massive interview with E, and he basically he said Beck should have given Beyonce his Grammy. Like, that's just his opinion. What's your take on it?
I wouldn't go as far as to say that he said it should be Beyonce.
He did. He said Beck should have given. No, because there was an interview. Of course, he didn't say it then and there. He had interviews after, and he said Beck should have handed his Grammy to Beyonce.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
See, that's the issue with the Grammys now, though. I mean, what level do you go to it? Do you have it as a popularity contest, which in case, yes, zero undeniable, Beyonce's Grammy, not Beck's? Or do you go back to its roots of being about artistic merit within work? Which you could make a case for Beck there, but is he still relevant even remotely, though? I'm not sure. That's another...
Look, I don't know much about Beck, but I am a Beyonce fan, but I just think...
It's just disrespectful.
It is.
It's not needed.
It's not. Like, I like, though, how he's speaking, how he feels, like he's fighting for creativity. But each artist has their own creativity, and unfortunately, the Grammy people thought that Beck was better.
Well, it'd be like me. I mean, I'd be pretty up in arms if some heavy metal band won album of the year, artist of the year.
As well with 50 Cent and Evanescence back in the day.
Yeah.
So, well, geez, I mean, Evanescence, I can at least stomach them. But
Yeah.
something a bit harder. Just trying to throw something off the top of my head. Maybe Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. Not my personal cup of tea.
Yeah.
If that happened, I would be pretty nifty about it. But I don't think I'd get up on stage at
No.
the Grammys, walk over and say, no, just...
Like, give
no,
your
no.
award to Beyonce now. Like, it's just so intense.
I think it would have been interesting to see, had that been Iggy Azalea or even Taylor Swift in 2015,
Yeah.
would he have had the guts to do it to a bigger artist? And, you know, like, honestly, that was the first time I'd heard of Beck. I don't know if I've been living under a rock or whatever.
I think he sold, like, a lot of millions.
Yeah, like...
He sold a lot of...
A lot.
He's definitely talented enough to cause the hype, but it's like...
Not mainstream at the
Yeah.
sort of thing.
I wouldn't expect, like, Kanye West to do that to...
I think Kanye's a bit biased, though, because Jay-Z's his best friend and Jay-Z's wife's Beyonce.
Yeah.
And he fought for Beyonce back in the day with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I think it's a 5-year tradition he's got. Like.
Every 5 years he's going to be a new way to be a jackass.
So anyway, he's interesting.
Yeah,
He's a very
definitely.
interesting character, but I do love him.
We'll call character and interesting as the choices of words there. Now, what else have we got in our little Grammy wrap-up here?
Oh, not much. Not much
Feel the
else.
performance.
What about the pop solos here? And
Oh yeah, the pop solo, John Legend took that, and R&B
good.
performance, Beyonce.
Oh, look at
She
Kimmy,
won.
loving it.
You know she has like 23 Grammys. That's insane.
That is insane.
Absolutely insane.
Is that the highest of all time? I'm not sure of that.
I think in the female category, yes.
Wow. There you go. Michael, thoughts on the overall Grammys wrap-up there?
I don't know, like, it was cool, but at the same time it was like, I've always felt, and this is going to be biased coming from a hip-hop fan, but I've always felt that hip-hop has been underrepresented in Grammys. Like, just consider the fact, like you said, Beyonce has 23 Grammys. Nas and Snoop Dogg, two most influential rappers ever, have never won one Grammy.
He went off about that too.
Yeah,
didn't he?
yeah.
He had a big diss at the Grammys.
Yeah, and like it's understandable with Kendrick Lamar releasing The Black of the Berry the next day. You know, it was interesting to see the way the hip hop world reacted to it. But like, I think as long as and I can definitely see where Kanye is coming from. I don't know if I would have carried it out like that, but it will be interesting to see sort of in future generations how the presence of hip hop, how it evolves with the Grammys itself. You know, like you said before. It does seem like more of a popularity contest, in my eyes at least, in terms of, you know, the hip-hop world and things like that. But, look, there's definitely talented artists out there, like, I think Kanye killed that performance, if you ask me. Like, he really brought that home, as did Beyonce and everyone there. So there's no level of talent, but it's sort of like, I think now it's important to find the balance of where hip-hop stands in the Grammys as well.
I agree with that.
Very nice to say. Well, Michael, thank you very much for coming in. Is there any shout-outs you'd like to give, and how can we find you on social media?
You can follow me on social media by searching Roundhouse Records on Facebook. Roundhouse is one word. And we've got other artists coming out that are going to be promoted on the page. We've got DJ Influence with no I. That's how influential he is. But we've got DJ Influence out there, and we've also got like we said, I don't want to put out a lot of artist names. We've got artists by the names of Asa coming out. We've got myself coming out. We've got DJ Hussein coming out. And we just want you to be on the lookout for Roundhouse Records 2015. You know, we're going to throw a lot of block parties. You know, you're going to see the image out there, and you're going to hear us a lot more often.
Beautiful, very nice. Well, stick around. We've got plenty more to come here on the Urban Hour with Preston. Around about 20 minutes left in the show, and that includes a lot of delicious love songs here to get us all on the move for Saturday. And I'll tell you what, Kimmy, I'm going to have to play a little game with you after this.
Oh, can't wait, can't wait.